Okay, I know you guys have been basically bored as hell while just looking at my logo. If you guys are even like looking at the screen and listening to the podcast. So yeah, we're back with some gameplay. Today we're doing some Warzone gameplay. So hope you enjoy. And yeah, enjoy the podcast. Welcome to Vertex Talks, a podcast where we talk about trending topics and answer your guys' questions. And today we don't have anybody because we're gonna be talking about the TikTokers versus YouTubers event, what Logan Paul and Jake Paul are doing in the boxing scene, and why the school system is broken, and why I may or may not be depressed. Uh, so yeah, we'll leave the depression part for the end, so you guys don't also get sad, and you guys can click off if you guys don't want to listen to my story. It's all good. But one of the first things for the YouTubers versus TikTokers events, uh, I'm not gonna go through the ones which were like recently added, like you from like the press conference, because I don't know any of them basically, and not even the YouTubers or the TikTokers from those cards. So yeah, Tanner Fox versus random TikToker guy who I don't know his name because who cares about TikTok? Let's be honest. Was cancelled because I think that like a 20-pound weight difference, which results to cancel to that resulted to be cancelled. So big oof. I mean, they could have what do you call it? Done it with like head guards and maybe like lower pounds gloves, but I'm no boxing professional, so I don't know if that also doesn't work even if you want to fight. FaZe Jarvis wrecked Michael Lee in I think the third round. I wasn't watching any of the fight live because I couldn't bother to like first pay for the pay-per-view and then watching it about like 8 a.m. in the morning for absolutely no reason. So I just slept through it, and then I woke up and I saw the results. And I saw Michael Lee got one pumped to the head, which was just uh, it was funny. It was funny. I was like giving Michael Lee like I think like a 10% chance of winning. Because if you didn't know, Michael Lee was trying to do fake beef with Jarvis. Jarvis recorded a video on it and then exposed him, which is fair enough, you know. Uh, but he was doing it for the money, I'm pretty sure. So, fair enough to him. Oh wait, talking about money. Apparently like the social gloves things was owned by like Austin, which I wasn't really like surprised when like I think I saw it like on Drama Alert or something. Uh because like what do you call it? Ryan Johnson versus Nick Ireland happened like to get on the card or like the undercards, which I did not mention. That I think Ryan Johnson was there, which is I think like Austin's brother-in-law or something like that. Basically, what was happening was that Ireland fully won because they had two rounds. Okay, first round Ireland Nick won. Okay, we're gonna just say I can't speak. Nick won. Second round it was a draw, and then third round they did a third round, which didn't make sense because if there's a draw and then there's a clear winner, the clear winner is gonna win. But obviously it's Austin's people. We all know how scammy Austin is. Um, they did a third round where what do you call it? What's his name? Ryan Johnson or something like that. I don't know. I'm not familiar with these Austin family people. One, which is Big Oofs, uh, it got scammed fully. And then what's who was the other person? Yeah, Landon McBroom, who got to the card with literally not even doing a competition. which was just scummy as hell from Social Gloves. I'm like, how? Why would you do that? You first make something rigged, and then you. It just it pissed me off when I first like saw the Ireland video. It really pissed me off, and just it was just bruh. But let's stop talking about Ireland getting scammed. DDG beats Nate Wyatt or something like that. I don't know much about the TikToker or the DDG guy. But DDG won from I think a unanimous decision. I didn't watch that fight even afterwards. I woke up because I didn't know any of them. So like, what was the point? And then Deji versus Vinny Hacker happened, where the only TikToker of the night who won happened. Vinny won, I think, in the second round because Deji gassed out, which was big oofs. His stamina is still very shit, but I'm pretty sure he has better stamina than I do because I can't even run a 200 meter. I'm pretty sure. But it's not about me. I'm not fighting. Uh, but yeah, he gassed out. He took a knee in the second round. At the start of the second round, because he went like all in. He went like I think like Logan Paul mode for like the Floyd Mayweather fight. Oh, we haven't even talked about that. Let's talk about it a little right here. If you didn't see Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather, the first round, Logan just went swinging hands, like and Logan had like the stamina to go like 8 rounds. He looked extremely exhausted on the like last rounds, but he still was going. But Deji, he did Logan Paul's strategy of going all in the first round, trying to knock Vinny out. But I think Vinny just blocked or something like that. And oof, Vinny won. The only clown of the night, which has won, is Vinny. I was like, let's go. Deji is gonna get his redemption finally, but he unfortunately couldn't. But yeah, but like the bad thing about this was, or the funny thing, I'm not sure which one I could say, that Deji looked worse in his redemption fight than his first fight, which was just, bruh, bruh, he couldn't get into shape, which was oof. I think had like 3 months to train. He said he like trained like 5 times a day. It didn't show that he trained 5 times a day, because if you train 5 times a day, you shouldn't gas out from 1 2 minute round of you constantly swinging. Like you shouldn't. And then like the whole controversy started that, what do you call it? Deji's training coaches were forcing him to eat fast food and stuff I think they got exposed by like his girlfriend and stuff. They made a video on it. It was all just meh. And then what do you call the Deji's trainer coaches wanted to I think they posted like an Instagram story or something. I saw this on the Bread Batch. That they were gonna talk about this whole controversy in a podcast. I don't know if they have a podcast. They're like a gym thing, and like what do you call it? Deji's girlfriend was also saying that they were like cheating on their wives and girlfriends, and then forcing Deji to do the same while when she wasn't there. I don't know. It's all a he said, she said situation. It's obviously, even if they would do it, um, you cannot really help someone who isn't helping themselves. Like if Deji like really wanted to win, he could if he really just put in the work. And also he shouldn't go to the same gym afterwards. He went to what do you call Vic's boxing gym, I think, for his first two fights, and he lost both of them. So it might not be his fault, but at the end of the day, it's probably his fault. Let's be honest. You can't blame everything. Like in the next fight, Taylor Holder versus Nissan Gibb happened, where Gibb got robbed at first. I woke up and I started shouting. afterwards I saw that fight because it was absolutely rigged. It was so rigged. I don't know. Like I would love to like the moment where heard majority draw. I was like, yeah, I want to smash the judge's head, which gave Taylor all 5 rounds. And I was saying with my last point, it's not your, what do you call it, training team's fault if you lose. Like if Deji lose, he can't just put it on his team's fault. If Taylor lose, he can't just because he trained with Canelo or something or Ryan Garcia doesn't mean it was their fault. You have to put in the hard work and you'll probably achieve what you need to achieve. But yeah, Gib got robbed. But then it got returned and Gib won. So like Taylor was just like it was so easy to say that Taylor was even shocked. Like if you look at them, like Gibbs like just waiting for his hand to get raised. I don't know. And when Taylor hears majority draw, he looks around. He's like, "What? What the fuck?" And then like he starts being like, okay, if I act like this, it's probably gonna be a big controversy that even he thought he was gonna lose and stuff. And then he went to shake his hand and stuff. You know, it was all bullshit. And it would definitely ruin my mood if I watched that early in the morning when I have barely any sleep. Uh, but that's besides the point. He did get returned, and then he was literally happy for it to be a draw, which was bullshit, man. Like KSI, he was very sad with the results of Fed being a draw. First of all, obviously with like the KSI Logan Paul fight, he was extremely salty, and he was saying that, oh, it wasn't a draw, I clearly won and stuff. But later on, he was like, okay, I didn't win, I was just being salty or something like that. Let's be honest. Like the first KSI versus Logan Paul fight was clearly a draw. Like KSI did not win. Even like I think during like the second fight, the documentaries, they said that he just wasn't happy with what he did, which is obviously just shows that he was just being salty at that point and what do you call it? Saying that he won the fight when it was a clear draw. And he can't blame it on like, oh, it was the judges. I don't know. We're moving topics too fast. But yeah, Gib won, which was good afterwards because he worked really hard for that fight and he didn't get robbed at the end. And then the main card, Mr. Austin Scammer versus Bryce Hall Dickhead. Austin Scammer won. I'm not even that pissed really. I wanted it to be a draw, but we all knew it wasn't going to be a draw because Austin's a big scammer and Bryce is a little piece of shit. Uh, but yeah, I think it was TKO'd by I think around the third round, which was it was meh. It was alright, you know. It was just short. Like you could see that Austin was just he was levels above where Bryce was. Just absolute levels, like his footwork and stuff. It was pretty decent. And now, as what do you call Bryce lost, we can talk so much shit about him. I've talked too much shit about him in the last episodes. I'm not gonna be talking shit about him in this episode. So hey, calm down. um, like I know so many people which like DM'd me on Instagram when I said most of the TikTokers are gonna lose. And then after the fight, like, no, wait, I posted it on my story, and then so many people DM'd me. No, 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 Bryce is gonna knock him out. Bryce is so young, he's in his prime. Taylor's gonna knock out Gabe and stuff. Did you see what he did? All of them, I DM'd them afterwards, and I was like, yeah, what are you saying now? They just don't reply to me anymore, which is funny, it was fun. It was fun to prove most of them wrong. No one talked about the Deji fight or DM me that Deji was going to lose or anything like that because I'm pretty sure no one really knew who to pick. But yeah, all of the people who said TikTokers were gonna most of the TikTokers was gonna win. They are absolutely quiet right now, fully quiet. They just don't know what to say now. This absolutely, it's absolutely hilarious though. But yeah. But now Austin McBroom, I think I'm saying his name right. Uh, is going to go head to head with KSI. The site doesn't too it doesn't make too much sense because I guess they don't have beef. Like the Bryce fight, it would make so much sense because they actually have like real beef. But you know, Bryce is a dumbass. I think he lost like $1 million because he bet $1 million. You know, Austin just blindly put that $1 million bet if he knew he was gonna lose. Because I think there was like a face to face over there. Bryce was literally just, I like there was like seconds of him just being quiet, and like Austin going, "Why don't you bet $1 million?" Just like I will bet $1 million, and he thinks for a second, he thinks for an excuse, and then he goes, "Oh, but this contract's already signed," and it's like we could just change the contract. He was just constantly making excuses, but at the end he did bet $1 million. I didn't even know Bryce had that much money. Let's be honest. I thought he was a broke ass, but apparently not. I think every single YouTuber is a millionaire at this point, but that's besides the point. But Austin versus KSI is gonna happen. KSI actually, he opened up I think his boxing promotion line. I don't know what its name is, unfortunately, because I don't care. I mean, I care about the KSI versus Austin fight. That's obviously going to be a big banger for me to watch, or everybody to watch. And then afterwards, probably Jake Paul's going to be fighting. Jake was absolutely furious when he heard KSI was going to fight Austin before he fights him. Because we all know the only fight that basically anybody cares about at this point, if you follow the YouTube boxing thing, Jake Paul versus KSI. We've been waiting for it for like an year, and I get why KSI wants to do like a warm up fight with Austin. He might do like a couple more, maybe to piss off Jake, or just to get a better warm up. Because I think he hasn't boxed in like 2 years or 1 year, which is a long time. You know, he will definitely need uh, a bit of experience in the ring before he gets back into with the fighter, which is pretty decent. Now let's talk about Jake Paul and Logan Paul. So Logan Paul and Jake Paul, we already know by now, but logged in a pool has fought Floyd, and Jake Paul has a fight against Tyron Wood. No, I can't constantly go on. It's I'm gonna die. Okay. He obviously congrats to Logan for going all 5 rounds or all 8 rounds. I'm not saying 4 rounds. You know, uh, he did decent. He didn't like if there would be scorecards. Obviously, Floyd would win, but that's besides the point. You know, congrats to a freaking YouTuber to go against the of greatest boxer alive, arguably the greatest boxer alive, and going all 5 rounds. All 5 rounds. The funny thing is, before the fight, he was saying he's gonna do two in one night, and after the fight, like I mean, he wanted to fight Jake and Logan in the same night. That's where the got you hat thing happened because he said that. And then afterwards, the fight, he literally said he's not gonna do any more fights. So he basically Logan Paul made Floyd Mayweather retire, which is hilarious in my opinion. But oh well, that's probably not the full truth. But hey, all good. Jake Paul has a fight against Tyron Woodley. I think Tyron Woodley is gonna win because I think he's like a UFC champion. I don't know why he's not fighting like Tommy Fury or something like that by now. But I guess there's too many UFC people on his list. He has to beat. So, hey, but I think he has lost like his last like 5 fights in the UFC, which is oof and a bit sus. But I think Tyron Woodley could be, because Tyron Woodley is a friend of Ben Askren. Tyron Woodley helped Ben Askren to fight in the ring, but obviously he got dropped in the first round. I mean, we all knew how that was gonna go, or I at least know, and I still think Tyron Woodley has a chance. You know what? I was gonna give Jake like, I don't know, like 10% chance of winning, but you know what? I'll give him a 50% chance of winning. Okay, there's a 50-50 chance. That's what I think. Because Tyron Woodley has lost like, I think four or five of his last UFC fights, and I don't think, like, just because you do the UFC doesn't mean you're a boxer, because it's very much more different. You have like weights in your hand to punch, so obviously, yeah, and then also like, I'm pretty sure footwork is different, and I don't really watch the UFC. I'm kind of just speaking what I think is right. So don't take my word for most of the things that I'm saying. And what else? The ring is smaller, maybe. I'm not sure. But I think it's a 50-50% chance of Jake winning and or Tyron Woodley winning. I don't know which team. I'll make a prediction now. I'll make a prediction. Okay, if Jake wins, I reckon Jake is gonna do TKO or KO by the third round. But if Tyron tries, I think it's gonna be a unanimous decision. I don't think that Tyron Woodley has the ability to knock out Jake Paul. I don't think. But unanimous decision could be a call. I really wanted the Tommy Fury fight because it's just funny that Tyson Fury, Tommy Fury's big brother, who's obviously huge in the boxing world, is calling out, he's begging Jake Paul to fight his little brother. Why? Why am I saying Tyron Woodley? What's his name? I forgot. Tommy Fury, yeah. Tommy Fury, come on, just call him out. You don't need your brother. I know he has a lot of clout in the boxing world, but calm down. You don't need him. But now let's talk about why the school system is broken. Now, I'm not gonna encourage you guys to drop out of school. I'm not doing this because of that or because I'm gonna drop out of school. But this is just my opinion, okay? Do not take this as like some actual good advice, you know? Don't take it, but this is just my opinion. You guys can put your opinions down in the comment section. I read every single comment. So hey, I'll take your thing into consideration about why the school system is broken. Okay, first of all, why I think the school system is broken is we go to school to learn how to be an employer, which to some people they'll be like, what? What does that? Why? Nah, that's not true. What? No. But it's true. We aren't going to school to learn how to be the boss of a business or how to pay taxes or something, or how to run an actual business. Unless, nah, I can't think of a subject which actually does. Um, but it's kind of sad. Like, we're basically going to school to learn how to work for money, which is an extremely bad thing to do, in my opinion. Everything's in my opinion here, okay? Do not take this out of context. And this school has so many other problems. I'm not saying this as a dropout. I'm still doing school. I don't recommend anybody to drop out of school. Uh, if you want, you can, but I don't recommend it. I don't recommend this. But there's just so many other things about basically doing tests and stuff, which I kind of get. If you're studying something like medicine or something like that, tests make sense just so you don't give a wrong pill to if you give like a, what do you call it, a headache pill to a person who has cancer or something, you cancer people to get pills. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't study medicine. It's like most of the subjects in school are kind of pointless. Like, can you tell me a good reason, like a valid reason why we learn history in school? Just give me a valid reason. Now, I have asked my teacher this. They just tell me that just so you don't make a mistake in the future by learning about the past. And this is what I'm saying, okay? We learn from our mistakes. It's fine to do a mistake over and over and again if you take something away from it. You shouldn't be scared to do mistakes unless it's a mistake that's basically going to kill yourself. Then, like, it's obviously you don't want to do a mistake, but that's not the main point. And then doing tests and stuff, which is basically, this is what I'm saying, okay? You will have students studying overnight, countless hours on and on just to get that A on that test, to not even satisfy themselves, to satisfy their parents, so they don't, because parents nowadays, they just think, oh, if my son gets an A, he's gonna be cool, or he's gonna be good in this subject. Like if he gets an A in history, wow, that doesn't mean shit. Because what are you gonna be, a history teacher? Why? I don't mind if you're a history teacher, that's not the point. But nowadays, it's just, parents are just like, okay, if you don't get an A, you're a failure, which is just bad. Because a lot of people, this is what they do. They work their ass off for weeks on end or months on end to get that A on that test, not to even satisfy themselves. And then afterwards, they get that A. The next day, they forget everything. So what's the point of learning it? What's the point of learning it if you're just gonna forget about everything by the next day? And there's just so many reasons. Like, why does homework exist? Why does homework exist? Just so we have active recall or something like that in our heads, just constantly running through useless information. Like, the only subjects which I kind of get in school, which is like important, but not even for like all of the classes, like maths, till grade 6, it's all right until you get into like algebra and stuff. What are we going to use that in our real life? Just ask your teachers this. They won't be able to answer. Well, what are we going to use algebra for in our real life? In our actual life? We aren't going to be using it. What's the point of learning it? Why? Now I can rant and rant about this for like 5 hours long, okay? But I'm not gonna make this episode 5 hours long, okay? Because, like, if you guys want me to make a whole video ranting about why the school system's even more broken, I can make a list. I haven't made a list. I'm talking about these school systems from the top of my head, okay? So if you guys want to see like why the school system's actually broken, let me know down in the comment section. And now the final thing: if you don't want to be sad for the rest of your day, or you might not be sad if you're just a heartless person. I'm joking. I'm joking. Um, we are gonna be talking about me being depressed. Whoa, this is going to be fun. Hopefully, I don't cry my eyes out. Well, you shouldn't laugh while like talking about depression, because that's like a really bad thing. But I do, to cry away my depression things. Now let's talk. Now, as you guys probably saw my last video, called The End, where I talked about what was the future of the channel and stuff. And afterwards, I recorded that. And even before I recorded that, I was being heavily depressed. I'm still extremely not sure if I'm fully depressed. I wouldn't say so, because I still have happy moments, but I don't know how depression really works. I'm no thera- therapist, yeah. Which for somewhat reason, I wanted to so for somewhat reason I wanted to stop, but as I have stopped, stop by, meaning I wanted to stop making Minecraft content. But now, as I've stopped, I feel extremely lonely inside and empty inside, as it's vacation and I have almost nothing to do as COVID's still a thing. It's just really hard. Okay, I'm editing the podcast right now. I got a little too emotional during talking about my depression. So I've cut a part out because I just don't want it to be in the video. I was gonna release this clip, but I just don't feel like it. I feel like it's a bit too much, and I don't feel comfortable putting this out. So yeah, so a part of what I was talking about won't be in the video, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess continue. Okay, enough talking about sad stuff. But that's all for today's episode. It was a bit hard towards the end to talk about more. I definitely had more to talk about, but I don't wanna burst out tears and start crying on camera and stuff. But yeah, that's it for episode 4. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all aren't depressed. It's all good. I'll be fine, hopefully. And yeah, I'll hopefully talk to you guys in the next episode of Vertex Talks, which might be after the Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul fight. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.